It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we follow my journey in the wonderful world of Sorare. I show you my lineups, my results, how I've done, what I've won, cards I've bought and traded, my thoughts around Sorare, all of that good stuff. And as you may have seen from the title of this video, the Neon Christmas special happened last week, and I did well. I did well in it. I didn't finish first. I was briefly first for a short amount of period. After Saturday's fixtures, I was first in the world in Neon Christmas special from the craziest lineup. I will show you later the lineup that won me some cash. In the end, I finished 25th. And won $250. Now, a few weeks ago, I won $250 in the Premier League in season for finishing 5th in Division 1 Premier League in season. So I once again won $250, which is £200. Can't complain. I'll show you my lineup in a bit. We will get to that. But yes, Neon Christmas Special gave me a nice cash prize. So I was delighted with that. I spent some of that cash. So I'm gonna reveal it anyway. I'm gonna reveal it now on Raphinha. I got myself a Raphinha card as well as a whole bunch of other cards that I've been gradually adding to the gallery since my last cash prize, which was a few weeks ago. That cash had just run out when I won the Neon, when I didn't win, but I did well in the Neon Christmas Special competition, which gave me another cash injection, which was great, so I can keep buying cards. I'm having a great time. We're playing Premier League in season. We're playing La Liga in season. We maybe have bought a new collection of a new team that allows us to play Champion and Champions League a bit more seriously. Well, I'll show you that later. But first, let's start off this week's video by looking at how I did last week in what is 2 game weeks, because I did my last week's video slightly earlier. So we've got 2 sort of sets of game weeks to review. So let's get doing that right away. Right then, let's get to it. We've got 2 juicy game weeks to review. The first one was January the 14th to the 17th, where this was the midweek Premier League set of fixtures that happened last week that I was quite excited about because I had Crystal Palace playing Leicester. So I thought, great game for me to kind of target. I think I did really well, 424 points. Wasn't enough to get a cash prize though. It was a 3-star box, which I think I got market credits, which is always nice. But unfortunately, didn't win I thought this lineup, I guess it's Division 1. It was a really competitive week this week. I've won better prizes with less performing lineups. But yes, so we had some special competitions, which we didn't take too seriously. We had the Premier League in season where we targeted Crystal Palace, who were playing Leicester. So the week before this, I'd bought myself 5 Crystal Palace cards for this great run of fixtures that Crystal Palace have right now. And it's already started paying off because in a way, if this got me a cash discount, it got me market credits, which is kind of like winning cash. So in my head, I'm kind of like, they've already started paying themselves off already. So, and you know, I think they've got great fixtures coming up. I think they've got, they haven't really got like a tricky fixture, a red fixture if you go by FPL's fixture coloring system. They haven't got one of those for quite a few weeks, 6 weeks, I think. So looking forward to holding on to these Crystal Palace boys, and hopefully we get weeks where people have gone for Liverpool, Manchester City, and they don't do so well. Arsenal don't do so well, and then our Crystal Palace boys smash, because our Crystal Palace boys did smash this week. This is a good lineup, but I think everyone else's lineups, I can't remember who. I think Liverpool may have got a big win. I think Arsenal may have got a big win. So we didn't win anything better than a 3-star box, but that's Division 1. That's the tough world of Division 1. So delighted with all of my Crystal Palace boys. Mateta keeps scoring. He looks like he's in great form. Eze keeps scoring and assisting. The defense is looking solid. I've got Mitchell, Lacroix. I've got Henderson. I've also got Munoz in a classic card. So I've got lots of Crystal Palace options. Fulham, another team that I'm really enjoying having Robinson and Wilson from. Wilson is kind of in this good run of form. I've been talking recently in the last couple of videos about how when Harry Wilson is in form, he's in great form, and then he goes quiet for a while. So we're still in that rich vein of form for Wilson. So while he's still in this good form, I don't really not want to include him in any of my 3 Premier League in season lineups. Same with Robinson. On fire, surely not going to stay at Fulham for too much longer. But while he is enjoying these 2 cards, Sells was a bit of a disappointing game for him, but it was Liverpool. Nottingham Forest played Liverpool and did really well. Really proud of my Nottingham Forest cards. You know, they've become a bit of a second team for me now. So yeah, love the Nottingham Forest boys still. They had a tricky game against Liverpool, but they'll have easier games. Sancho looking good at Chelsea, Sancho, but not score-wise. And then we put out a third lineup, which we knew there was a DMP goalkeeper, but we thought maybe these four will all do really well. They did kind of do well. Brennan Johnson's got himself injured, which is really annoying because I only got him like 2 weeks ago. But hopefully he'll come back from injury and Spurs are kind of attacking a bit more sensibly. But yeah, nothing to report too much there. Then there was Premier League Classic where Phil Foden, I picked up a Phil Foden card like 2 weeks ago for £17. Since I've bought Phil Foden, he's been on ballistic form. Ballistic form. Look at this. I bought him when he did this 93. So after the West Ham game, I was like, whoa, Foden is on something here. And then since then, he's given me an 100, another 93. He had a poor result in the Champions League, but that was a bit of a strange game. The Man City PSG game was bonkers. It was a crazy second half. 2 goals, City went up, then they just collapsed. So City still aren't there yet. They're still mentally fragile. But Phil Foden does seem to be like he's playing good again. So I'm glad I picked his card up a few weeks ago. His price is like almost double what I paid for him now. So that was a good bit of business. What else? Then we had some more classics that didn't really do much. A champion that didn't do much. Under 23s. We got a 3-star box from a warm-up league. Keep playing the warm-up leagues, guys, because things like this happen. You win 3-star box for playing one card, and a Madueke card that I probably wasn't going to fit in anywhere anyway, and then these free cards. So I'm enjoying the kind of box, just slow momentum gathering in these warm-up leagues. And then some train-up line. So that was the midweek fixtures. Then we get to the weekend fixtures where we had this Neon Christmas special. And I'm going to be honest, this wasn't even my priority lineup. I don't consider myself to have been lucky in Sorare. I've been playing for like just over a year, and I don't really consider myself to have had that many lucky moments. Like, I've crafted a lot of cards, and I've never really been that happy about the crafts. I've won boxes, and they don't seem to be massive prizes. I've put out lineups, and I've never gone like, wow, that I got lucky with that lineup to get that reward. This is the first time I felt like I got lucky, because this wasn't a priority lineup for me, but they all smashed, and it was crazy. They all played on the Saturday. So I was first on the Saturday. It said first $3,000 prize. I was like, what? This is crazy. Then I made the mistake, and I've learned an important lesson in Sorare, which is don't stare at your rankings in a competition. Don't do that. It's just torture. You just watch yourself slowly go down and down and down, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll get $400, maybe I get $250 on me. So lesson to myself, don't watch the lineups. Just maybe check once or twice, and then just see at the end where you finished, because that was torture. But it was quite exciting being first, and then it was quite, I shouldn't have watched it basically. But I'm really happy that I finished 25th still. $250, which is £200, went back into my account. And like I said earlier in the video, I just kind of spent the rest of my 200 that I previously won. So it was nice to get another 200 to kind of be like, go out and keep spending. And yes, I've treated myself. I treated myself. We've still got a little bit left to play with, £116. But Raphinha took out a big chunk of that, £200. But yeah, it's like the Alaves goalkeeper. I would not have had this goalkeeper if the other goalkeeper hadn't have got injured. The Alaves, because I've got an Alaves collection, the Alaves keeper got injured. So I only have this card because I was like, I better pick up the backup now because the other guy's out for 5 weeks. And he made an incredible save. He made, which will be the goal scoring thing, 1-on-1. The guy is running into him, 1-on-1. He comes out, blocks the ball. Huge save, nice score. Crystal Palace kept a clean sheet away at West Ham, which, I kind of did suspect, but I didn't put them in my Premier League in-season teams because I had better fixtures. I had Fulham were playing Leicester, Nottingham Forest were playing Southampton, so I was like, I can't fit my Crystal Palace defenders, so I'll put them in this lineup, and they kept the clean sheet. He did well. My Monaco card, at the time of record, when I played this lineup, he was my only Monaco player. I won him as a reward. Maybe I crafted him. Maybe I won him as a reward a month ago when there was a season break. The French league went on their season break, and I was like, oh, that's a shame. Where are we? I was like, that's a shame that I've just won this guy who's doing well at Monaco, but they're out of a break. I could have sold him. I'm really glad I didn't. I kept him because I was like, his scores have been good. I'll just wait till the winter break's over, and then when he comes back to Monaco, and if he starts doing well, I'll sell him at a higher value. Now I'm not going to sell him because now I like Monaco, and I bought more Monaco cards. So he did well. And then Danny Rabbit, I couldn't fit him into my La Liga team, so I put him in this lineup because it was Atletico Madrid. I was like, that's a tricky fixture. Atletico Madrid are like second in La Liga. I don't know if I fancy them against Atletico Madrid. I'll put him in this lineup where it's a bit more of a gamble. And he's got an assist. And Saul. So I have two Sevilla cards, Saul and Isaac Romero. I was like, I'll put one in this lineup, one in my La Liga lineup. And it just so happened to be the one I put in my La Liga lineup wasn't a Neon Christmas special. Here he is, Isaac Romero, did terrible, may have picked up an injury, got a yellow card, 34. So I put him in this lineup. I was going to put Saul in this lineup, but I was like, oh no, he's not the Christmas special one. I'll put the Christmas special one in here. And he gets a goal and an assist, and it's Saul's season once again. I picked up this card for 30p. Saul, I picked up for 30p just because he was a former Chelsea player, and I was like, I like that. I like he's a former Chelsea player, and Sevilla need a hero. Maybe it can be him on loan right now. So I won 250. I'm delighted to win that. Next time I won't stare at the league table and watch my prize go down and down and down. But yeah, delighted I held on to that. How far was I from? I was 3 points ahead of 150 of quite a big drop there. Maybe that's because I've got a collection bonus on him. Maybe it's because I've got a collection bonus on him. Maybe again, the collection bonuses are really useful because both of these two guys possibly had their scores increased a bit because I've got a lot of other Crystal Palace cards and a whole load of Alaves cards. I think I've got a 3 or 4% on Alaves now. So that's the big news from the weekend just gone, is this Neon Christmas lineup. I put this Neon lineup as well, but that was never in any sort of serious. That was mainly just to build up the XP on those cards. Then there was some all-star lineups that I didn't take too seriously. Then we had Premier League in season when Nottingham Forest played Southampton. And this is where something didn't go well for me this week because Nottingham Forest conceded 2 against Southampton, which was unexpected. I was hoping Nottingham Forest would smash them and keep a clean sheet. If they did, we could have won some juicy rewards as well in Premier League in season because I put 3 Forest cards in this lineup and 4 in this lineup, but they didn't keep that clean sheet, so he didn't get a good score. Williams didn't get a good score. Milenkovic had a goal disallowed because Ola Aina, his backside was slightly offside. So Milenkovic had a goal disallowed. If he'd have had that goal allowed, he was my captain, and this lineup would have done really well. I mean, it did good. I got a 1-star box from all of my Premier League in-season lineups. 1-star boxes and a promotion in this one. But this one would have done so well if that captain had scored. We would have got something really juicy there and a promotion. So, still, you know, Forest boys doing well. Palmer started playing well again, which is good. Forest boys here doing well. Henderson, clean sheet. Foden, again, doing well. Look at that. 6-0 Man City win. 96 from Foden. In this lineup, Cunha's had a little bit of a dip. Now, I'm trying to work out why. Wolves have got a really tricky set of fixtures, and I do have a Wolves collection that I've had for ages, and I'm kind of aiming for in a few weeks when Wolves' fixtures get a bit easier, because at the moment they've got like Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. I think maybe Arsenal might be coming up soon. Arsenal's this weekend coming up. So Wolves have got a really tricky set of fixtures, which is why I think Cunha's scores are going down. But I'm also thinking maybe there's a lot of transfer rumours that Cunha might leave, and maybe that's affecting his game a little bit because he didn't look as lively against Chelsea. He did look a bit quiet, which isn't good from a Sorare point of view for me. But I'm hoping that if he gets a move, I've got a Cunha card at a top club with a nice collection bonus score around it. If he stays at Wolves, I'm hoping when the fixtures get easier, he continues to do well. Because when Wolves have slightly easier fixtures, not even necessarily really easy ones, when they're playing mid-table teams, Cunha seems to do really well. So hopefully he can pick up. Harry Wilson, once again, 88, an assist. Anthony Robertson, these Fulham boys. Part of me is like, I should get a Fulham collection. I should get more Fulham cards. But I have looked at the Fulham cards, and you know, Raul Jimenez is kind of good, but not necessarily consistent. And I've got him in as a classic card anyway. And they've got Iwobi, who's kind of a bit, hit and miss. Iwobi is probably the card that I'd want if I added another Fulham card. But I'm kind of just okay with just having 2 Fulham cards. Just keeping these 2 guys. That's enough for me. Eze doing well again, and Fabianski not doing so great. Classic team, we got relegated because Enzo Fernandez didn't play and I captained him. Totally didn't see that injury coming up. He had a slight knock. So Enzo Fernandez didn't play, which then ruined this entire lineup, but no one else in the lineup did really well anyway. So down to Division 3 we go in that league. There's, speaking of Raul Jimenez, here he is, 64 points. So you can see his scores aren't as good as Harry Wilson and Robinson. So I think they're the only 2 Fulham cards you need. Unless you're a Fulham fan, then get the whole collection. Moisey Caicedo was a card that I bought just after the last video. I'll show you that later. This didn't do anything. La Liga in season. We got a promotion and a 1-star box. So that was nice because the Alaves boys, the Deportivo Alaves boys, won 3-1 against Betis, away at Betis. And I'm really excited about this this Alaves collection now because Vicente did well. A hat-trick was scored by Kike Garcia, who I don't have. I didn't have his card. So if it's a bit annoying because if I'd had his card, I could have played him maybe instead of Ferran Torres and really smashed this league. But I have bought the card since. I've bought that missing Alaves card. He's a 34-year-old striker, which is why I didn't buy him because his scores haven't been that great. But watching the highlights of this game, seeing him score that hat-trick, I was like, he's still got something to give. So for like £1, I think I may have bought him for with market credits. I got him for like 50p really. I was like, I've got to add Kike Garcia at Alaves. The rest of the Alaves boys were here and didn't do that well. This was a DMP goalkeeper. So this lineup was originally going to be the playing Alaves goalkeeper, and I was going to kind of go for this lineup, but then I was kind of like, you know what, why don't I put the DMP goalkeeper? I can't get relegated from this league. I'll build up some XP on these guys. Maybe they all smash, and I'll play the playing goalkeeper in the Neon Christmas comp, and it worked out. And there wasn't much else to report. Now, we are currently in a midweek set of fixtures where I just wanted to say I bought a Monaco stack. I bought 5 Monaco cards to go along with my Monaco defender because I was looking at the Champions League fixtures this week. And I was like, I wish I had a Champions League. I wish I could put out a Champions League team. I've got lots of Barcelona cards, which could now... So I was looking at my possible lineup that I could have played in the Champions League. And I was like... I can play Barcelona cards here, here, and here. I just don't have a forward and a goalkeeper. So I could play a classic forward like I have here, and I need to buy a goalkeeper, basically. So I was like, who shall I buy? I looked at all of the big teams, and the goalkeepers just were either underperforming or too expensive. Then I was like, well, I've got this Monaco defender. I kind of also have a lot of Premier League cards from in-season that are left over most weeks now. My Premier League in-season collection has been building and building that I can now comfortably play 3 lineups, and I have a few cards left over. So I was like, it would be good to play them in Classic in-season. So why don't I pick a team in another league, like I did with Deportivo Alaves and Barcelona in La Liga? Why don't I pick another team in the French league or the German league, and I can play them in Classic with my extra Premier League cards. So the team I decided was Monaco because the goalkeeper has just come back from injury. This boy, he's just come back from a little break here. Look, he's just come back from this, and his price had gone down massively. And I bought him for just after this fixture. So as soon as I saw he played this fixture, I was like, right, he's back in the first team. Look at his recent prices. £18, £25, £23, £18, £23. I bought him for £13, nicely below the current price now that everyone's aware he's back in the first team. So I bought him for £13 in-season Premier League goalkeeper to go with my Monaco defender, Kera, who I already had. So then I was also looking at the Champions League fixtures as a kind of one-off game week. I was like, let's just do a one-off, try and do well in the Champions League. And I looked at the teams at the top that were away that I thought maybe are complacent. And the 2 teams I had in mind were Aston Villa and Bayern Munich, because they're both at the top of the table. They're both having busy fixture periods. And I just had a feeling Aston Villa and Bayern Munich, they might not win. They're playing away against teams that need the win. Bayern Munich were playing Feyenoord, and Monaco were playing Aston Villa. Monaco and Feyenoord needed the wins more than Aston Villa and Bayern Munich. So I was like, Monaco feels like a good team to go for. So I got him, the goalkeeper, and then these 2 boys. Now, these 2 boys have been on my list since January the 1st because I listened to a podcast that I really respect and I value the opinions of these guys on the podcast. And they were asked, out of everyone in Europe, pick your breakout stars. Who do you think is going to be the breakout stars for 2025? And they picked 4 players. 3 of those players were in Ligue 1 in France. 2 of them were at Monaco. So I was like, okay, I've got these 4 names on my list. The other one, by the way, is in Liga. 3 of them are in Liga. I'll keep it to myself. But I'll pick the other 2 up at some point this season. It may be at the end of the season as classic cards for my under 23 league. I'm still umming and ahhing. But these 2, I was like, well, they're on my list of players to watch for future stars. And I've watched a few highlights of Monaco. I've seen a few clips of these guys, and especially this Akliouche guy. He looks really exciting. Ben Seguir as well, 19 years old, in that first team, wearing the number 7 for Monaco. I just got a good feeling about him as well. So I picked up all of these cards. Well, I didn't pick him. I picked these 3 cards. Now, what's really annoying is up until 12 hours before this Champions League deadline day, I didn't have Raheem Sterling here. Like I said, I was targeting Monaco or Feyenoord. I went for Monaco because I could play them in Classic. But Feyenoord, I had my Classic Santiago Jimenez. 12 hours before the deadline, he was in my starting lineup. He was here. And then I just had this feeling, I was like, I'm betting against Villa and Bayern Munich. Maybe I'll just bet against Villa. And Bayern Munich should do well. They're in better form than Villa. And Arsenal have got a really nice home game against Dynamo. And Sterling, I know, will start because they've got problems in those positions. So I was like, I'll go for Sterling instead of the riskier Santiago Jimenez. Santiago Jimenez ends up getting 2 goals, 123 points. I captained him in this league. So I could have got a really good price here. But the good news is the Monaco boys look good. I watched the game against Aston Villa, and I'm happy I got this Monaco collection now. I think I'm going to pick up a few more Monaco cheaper pieces to build up that collection. And even if it's just for these 2 boys in the future, I'll want them to have a high collection score for years to come, I think. So, and I quite like Monaco. I've got good feelings about Monaco. Since the Mbappe generation, I've always kind of thought Monaco are a team that produce lots of good youngsters, and yeah, why not? I don't really have a team in France, so it was a bit like when I bought the Deportivo Alaves collection. I was like, let's just pick these guys because like that guy's the goalkeeper's on a good price right now, and they've got a good youngster. So yeah, I'm all in on Monaco. And then I played my Barcelona boys. I didn't have Raphinha at this point, so I couldn't play Raphinha. Imagine if I could have had Raphinha here. He did really well in the Champions League midweek. Now, next Champions League game week, I'm going to be able to play Monaco and Raphinha, which is exciting. And there hasn't been anything else to report from midweek. So those are how my lineups have been doing since my last video. Let's take a look at the new cards I've been buying. So last card I showed you I bought was this guy 9 days ago in my last video. So as we said, I'm buying Nottingham Forest collection pieces, Wolves collection pieces, no, I'm not buying Crystal Palace pieces, and Barcelona and Alaves. They were the collections I was just building. Cheap cards like this guy, this guy, this guy. I bought a Moses Caicedo. I don't know if I said that in last week's video, but yeah, I think I might have said that, yeah. So since then, I bought a Jules Koundé because he's just so exciting. I've been watching a lot of Barcelona games since I started buying this Barcelona collection. And Koundé is playing as like a right winger. He's just bombing down the wing. So Jules Koundé came in. Liam Delap is an ex-player that I really like watching. I really like Liam Delap. He's not scoring that well in Sorare, but he's passing the eye test. Every time I watch Ipswich, I'm always like, this Liam Delap guy will not be at Ipswich for long. He's too good. Could be the future England number 9. Could replace Harry Kane. I can quite easily see that happening in a few years. So I bought him for like an okay price. And I do think when Ipswich have kind of okay fixtures, he can peak. He can get a 62 or an 80. Look at this. Spurs, Brentford, West Ham, Villa. Good scores. And he's always involved in play. He's always pushing defenders around. He's a nuisance, and he's 21 years old. So he could even be a good striker for me to play my under 23 league for now. And then maybe like next season as a classic card, he becomes a card that I've already got. If he moves to say Arsenal or Manchester United or one of those kind of teams, his value is going to go up massively, and I'm not going to be able to get him for that cheap. So I'm kind of investing a bit early ahead of transfer speculation as well with Liam Delap. Then I bought this Kike Garcia card for £1.31 and is the current value, but that was 50% off with market credits. Oh, I had to get him. He's 34 years old, which is why I hadn't bought him before. But when he scores, he sort of does well, and he helps with the collection. Because I bought him an instant buy, that means I get the nice collection bonus score as well. So even if it's just for that, He helps with the Alaves boys. Then I picked up these two boys for my Barcelona collection. Olmo is kind of a really exciting player. I remember watching him in the Euros and thinking, this guy needs a move. He got that move to Barcelona. It's not quite happened for Dani Olmo yet. I think injuries and kind of coming in and out of the team and being on the bench. When he first came, he was injured and then he was on the bench for a while. But we can see scores are starting to get better. He's starting to start more games for Barcelona. So he's picked up another injury now, which is really annoying. But he's a great player, Dani Olmo. I'm sure he's going to have an amazing career. He's only 26. He's still not reached the peak of his career. Barcelona have got a lot of financial troubles, and there was talk that maybe they'll lose Dani Olmo. If that happened, he'd go to a team and be the first team player wherever he goes. So I'm sure Dani Olmo is going to have a great career. Helps with my Barcelona collection. Then there's the Monaco goalkeeper that I told you about. I got him at an auction at 13. I don't think it was a bit less than that. £13. Then I picked up another Monaco card. I got an Ola Aina card from Nottingham Forest to help with my Nottingham Forest collection. And also, he's just one of these cards from Forest that I haven't had. I've got Nico Williams and Milenkovic, and they've been enough. But I think Ola Aina might be the best defender out of the bunch. So it's good that I've now got him for my Forest depth. Monaco card. Then I have this Doria card. I love Doria, by the way. If you don't know about Doria, he used to play at my Mexican team, Santos. Was like a captain for Santos. Not a captain, but one of the leaders. Vice captain, I think he was. So I've picked up an in-season card because the Mexican season is back. And I'm looking to pick up a few Mexican in-season cards from Atlas just to kind of help me play contender in-season. So I picked up him. Then I picked up a Jacob Murphy. Shout out to the comments a few weeks ago. Someone recommended Jacob Murphy. So he's been on my watch list ever since. I love the comments. I love the recommendations. Keep them coming. Someone recommended Jacob Murphy because he kind of fits my profile of Premier League players, best of the rest, kind of below £10 that I can kind of just keep adding. Harry Wilton types. But his price was never at a good price. He's been like £8, £9, but Newcastle had a bad game against Bournemouth. He got a 32, and that was enough for the market to lose trust in Jacob Murphy. His price came down to a price that I found more appealing, around about £3.50. So picked up a Jacob Murphy, and Newcastle are playing Ipswich, I think. Ipswich or they're playing Southampton this weekend. So he's straight into my Premier League in-season lineup. It could be a really good timing to pick up him. Then I crafted an Ethan Nwaneri, who plays at Arsenal. If you've not seen him, really exciting youngster, 17 years old. I think he's the youngest ever Premier League starter. A few years ago, he came off the bench for Arsenal. Maybe he has the record for youngest ever Premier League player. So I'm quite excited. He is currently injured, which is why it was a tier 5 craft. So maybe that's why he was a bit lower in the rankings, because he's injured. But I'm going to hold on to that one because he's got a really exciting future ahead of him. And if I just hold on to him for a bit, I quite like the fact that he's a rookie card. If he has an amazing career, I quite like the fact that I'll have his rookie card and I crafted it. So I think I'm going to hold on to him. In general, I'm kind of going away from selling Sorare cards. I'm just seeing that, like, just keep them. Just don't sell Sorare cards unless they're like over 33 or like you're just never going to want to play them. But like, there's no way in 2 years' time I might not want to play him somewhere. So I'm not selling him. Then I picked up a Wilfred Singo, market credits again, half price. I picked him up because I was watching Monaco v Aston Villa and he scored. So I was like, whoa, who's this Singo guy? I don't have him. Let me look at his scores. Oh, he's one of those players that does amazing, bad, amazing, bad, amazing, bad, amazing. So he's got to come in to help out with my Monaco collection. Then here's an exciting one. Trent Alexander-Arnold for £22. I think it was £22.50. It looks like £22.95, but under £23 for Trent Alexander-Arnold Classic. I don't understand. I think I'm seeing Trent Alexander-Arnold prices around about £30 to £40 now, which is crazy. It used to be like 50 to 60. He's come down. I'm just thinking it must be Liverpool fans that are annoyed that he's going to leave Liverpool. But as a non-Liverpool fan, I'm seeing Trent Alexander-Arnold is still going to be playing for Liverpool until he leaves at the end of the season, likely. So he's still going to be playing, but one of the most attacking defenders in the Premier League, scores crazy scores on his day. Look at these scores. So he's now becomes my best classic defender in the entire club that I have. And then if he moves to Real Madrid, he's going to do so much better. He's going to be the most attacking defender in La Liga. It's gonna be an easier league for him. Like, have you seen how La Liga wingbacks defend? They don't. I think Real Madrid have currently got like Lucas Vasquez at right back, who's like a winger. So he's going to go to Real Madrid, sweep up the points. I think he'll be a better scoring card at Real Madrid than Liverpool if he goes to Real Madrid. So I think he's very undervalued right now, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I got him for under £23. It just makes sense to pick him up as a kind of exciting card. Like these two cards, Raphinha and Trent Alexander-Arnold, were kind of me treating myself with my £200. So I won the £200 extra from the Sorare Neon League. I won that, I think, here, just after Jacob Murphy. So these 5 cards have been bought since. And I was kind of thinking, if I spend the money like I spent my previous £200, I was a little bit sensible. Building collections, picking up players like Jacob Murphy and Eze and Elliot Anderson and Mateta, players that went along with my same budget. But then I was kind of like, I'm never going to buy a Raphinha. I'm never going to buy a Lamar. I'm never going to buy a Bellingham or an Mbappe because it just doesn't fit how I play. So the time I think to buy them is as a treat when I win a reward. Because then I've kind of like, I don't think I'll buy them. If I upload, say, if I put £100 into Sorare tomorrow, I'll probably spend it carefully. But after a big cash prize, I think that's the time I've got to get the exciting cards. So Raphinha for £70. And then last card I bought was this guy, Aguerd, who is one of the best defenders in La Liga. His scores are crazy. Sociedad are going on a good bunch of form. If we just look at his last 5 games, he hasn't scored below 50 in these scores. 76, 60, a 76 again. They're in the Europa Conference. They're in the Europa League as well, which is nice. He plays for his country, Morocco, so he's good as an international card. And he's a West Ham card from my West Ham collection. So let's just... It loaded up so quickly before. So his little bonus... It would have been quicker if I just looked here. Collection bonus of 3% already added on to him. So he's just a great card. He can go in my La Liga in-season teams as the classic team. I think this week he's got a great fixture again this weekend. So I bought him to throw him straight into my La Liga in-season teams. And he's the last card that I bought. I've still got £116. So tune in next week where I will have even more cards. But let's finish this week's video by looking at my lineups for the coming weekend. Here we go. These are my lineups for the coming weekend. Game week 47, January the 24th to the 29th. And there's some all-star lineups that I'm not taking too seriously. These are mainly to build up XP, DMP goalkeepers. And let's see if all 4 of those somehow smash. Then we've got a special competition, which is an underdog competition. I'm not taking this one too seriously. This one's more about building XP with a DMP goalkeeper. This one, however, I'm taking a little bit more seriously. So Acevedo is the Santos goalkeeper. I didn't want to play him in my Contender Classic because he's playing America, which is going to be a tricky fixture. But they're at home. You never know. He might make a lot of saves. And also, this underdog lineup, everyone has to have an L15 of no more than 45. So all of these guys come just under that. I've got a defender at Leganes, who I didn't want to play in my La Liga in-season lineup, so it kind of makes sense to put him here. 2 West Ham cards, which is a bit of a gamble, but I'm thinking they're playing Villa. Maybe Potter's starting to get settled in at West Ham. Maybe they're starting to understand how he wants them to play. Villa tired after the Champions League. Also lost in the Champions League. Maybe a bit demoralized. They didn't look great against Monaco. I was a bit surprised about how they played against Monaco. So I'm hoping that West Ham kind of go to them and take advantage of a wounded animal almost. And if they do, Paquetá captain, Souček, who's kind of been playing as the number 10 for West Ham since Potter came in. I think that's partly because of injuries, but kind of works for me as a Souček holder. So I'll play my 2 West Ham cards here. And then Liam Delap, Liverpool away, really tricky fixture. So I'm not going to play him in my more serious lineups, but you never know. Maybe Liverpool concede 1. Maybe if Ipswich score, he's going to be involved, likely. Hopefully it's a Leif Davis assist and a Liam Delap goal, but we'll see. So it's a bit of a gamble, but all 5 cards are going to play, and all 5 cards could potentially do well. Then we get to Premier League in season, my favourite league. Nottingham Forest, I've got a game against Bournemouth away. And Bournemouth are doing well this season, but Nottingham Forest are doing better. And I just think this is the kind of game where Forest got a little bit of a wake-up call against Southampton. They did still beat Southampton, but only just. And I'm thinking maybe that's a bit of a wake-up call. Maybe they go away to Bournemouth, take it more seriously. Bournemouth still don't have a striker who's fit. Justin Kluivert is doing really well for them, but still, I fancy my Forest boys. And then I'm going to put Trent Alexander-Arnold with them and captain Trent because he's playing Ipswich at home, which is an amazing fixture for Liverpool. Hopefully Trent does amazing for me on his first game for the club. Then I'm going to be backing Crystal Palace quite heavily. 4 Crystal Palace cards are at home to Brentford. Brentford have been a little bit shaky lately. They were doing really well at the beginning of the season. Their form just seems a little bit shaky now. And I think as Crystal Palace's form is better, Brentford's form is a bit shaky. It's at Crystal Palace's stadium. Just kind of fancy Crystal Palace for this one. So I'm going to be backing them heavily here. All 4 cards. And Cole Palmer, who's away to Manchester City. Now, last season that would have been a really hard fixture. I'm quietly confident Chelsea might go to Manchester City and surprise them. So with that in mind, I don't think I'd recommend going for Chelsea defenders because I still think Manchester City will probably score a couple. But I can see Chelsea going there and kind of causing a bit of an upset. Manchester City just lost to PSG, so they're going to be fragile as well from that European game. Chelsea haven't played midweek. There was no midweek fixture for Chelsea, so they're going to be more rested. So, let's hope Cole Palmer delivers. But Eze is going to be my captain here because he's in better form. And then my last Premier League in-season team is going to be Kepa, who, if Forest don't do well, maybe Kepa does well. And also Kepa, even when Bournemouth concede a few, Kepa's been scoring okay because he makes a lot of saves. He's involved a lot. So he's going to be the goalkeeper. Also, it was between Kepa and Fabianski. They were the only 2 Premier League goalkeepers I had left. And I think Fabianski away at Villa, I went for the home fixture, basically. So Kepa here. My 2 Fulham boys, they're playing Manchester United again. I think this could be a good fixture for Fulham. At home against Manchester United, might fancy them here. Murphy is going to be my captain straight in. So this is 2 cards that I've just bought that are going to go straight in and are given the captain's armband straight away. Playing Southampton, plenty of chances for him to get loads of assists to Isaac and Gordon. I do have been looking at Isaac and Gordon cards as well, but their prices just aren't where I want them to be. I would want to pay a little bit less than they're both being currently sold for. So maybe I'll get them after the game week. If they don't do well against Southampton, maybe the prices come down and Isaac and Gordon are players that I can get later. But for now, I'm happy with just Jacob Murphy. And then Cunha at home against Arsenal. Again, it's that whole theory of maybe Arsenal are tired from the Champions League. Cunha on his day can do well. It's a bit of a gamble. I'm not so confident about Cunha, but I think my other option, it had to be an in-season striker. My other options were Evan Nielsen, who's injured, and Delap, who's playing Liverpool away. So Cunha, I guess, had the better fixture out of them. Then in Classic, we're playing, I think, a fairly good lineup. I don't like how the goalkeeper looks, but Shaw at Southampton, nice fixture. Declan Rice playing Wolves, nice fixture. Foden in amazing form, and Jackson, because I've got a feeling Chelsea are going to surprise Man City, and maybe it's the biased Chelsea fan in me speaking, but hoping he does well there. My second Premier League lineup, I put 2 more Chelsea cards, Caicedo and Madueke. And then I put 2 Forest cards that I couldn't quite fit in my in-season lineup. So they're going into the Classic lineup, Elliot Anderson and Nico Williams, with Ramsdale playing Newcastle. Not expecting anything from Ramsdale. He was so bad. I can't remember what game I watched, but he made such a big mistake in one of the recent games for Southampton. So, yeah. La Liga in season, and it's Raf and Friends. I never usually name my lineups. I just call them Team A, Team B, Team C. But this is the first time I've renamed a lineup, and I might start doing that with a few more of my lineups, just to have a bit of fun. So Raf and Friends is probably always going to be my La Liga number 1 lineup. So we're going for Raphinha captain at Valencia. An amazing fixture for Barcelona. Valencia having a terrible season. Raphinha, I'm going to play 2 defenders because I don't have a Barcelona midfielder apart from Olmo, but Olmo's injured. I would have played Olmo if I could. I would like Pedri, but his price has doubled in recent weeks because he's had like 3 great scores in a row. His price has gone ballistic. When I was first building my Barcelona collection, I saw him for like £18, £20, and I was like, I don't know, for the guy who's not... Yeah, I'll hold off. Now he's going for like £40. I'm like, should have got him earlier, but I think I'll probably get him at the end of the season when the price comes down. So Raphinha, 2 Barcelona defenders, the wing backs, and Casado, who's the kind of Busquets figure. And then my Leganes goalkeeper, Dimitrovic. And then I'm playing my Alaves boys here, the goalkeeper, defender, and Vicente. Then Agued is coming in because Sociedad are playing Getafe, I think, at home. Yep, Getafe at home, which is a great fixture for Sociedad, hoping he can continue his great form. And Saul, also hoping he can continue his great form. Gonna give him the captain's armband. Nice home game against Espanyol. Go on, Saul. I would have liked to play my other Sevilla boy with him instead of probably Vicente, but he's injured. Romero, so he's not playing. I'm actually playing 3 La Liga in-season teams for the first time, but this one I'm not taking so seriously. It's in Division 5, so I can't get relegated. So I'll play my other injured goalkeeper from Alaves and then play 4 cards that maybe all smash and we scrape a box. Champion in-season. This is the first time I'm playing Champion in-season. I'm going to be playing my 4 Monaco cards. I've actually got 5 Monaco cards, but I've got 2 midfielders and 2 defenders. I don't have a Monaco striker, and that's really annoying. And I've been reading a bit about Monaco that they need a striker. They've got Briembolo. They've got a couple of young guys, but they need a striker, really. So I'm hoping that they sign a striker this window and that I can then get that card. And then I'm set up all around him because he's going to get great service from my midfielders. But yeah, they're playing Rennes, which is a bit of a tricky fixture, but I'm hoping they can keep a clean sheet. If they do, 2 defenders, goalkeeper, midfielder, and then Raul Jimenez at home to Manchester United is going to be the classic card that I play with them. Contender in season, 5 Mexican cards here, 3 Atlas, so Paradella, best Necaxa player, and Necaxa goalkeeper. I like that Necaxa have 2 games and Tigres have 2 games. Fulgencio is not at Atlas anymore. He's at Tigres. And he's just been called up to the Mexico team, Fulgencio. That's why he didn't play last week. He was with Net Mexico. So 2 games for these 3 guys, which I quite like. Gives me more of a kind of assurance that maybe... Oops, microphone falling. Gives me more of an assurance that they'll do well, right? Surely, because there were 2 games. Then we've got our classic team where Burgos have got a nice fixture. I'm going to have to read up a bit more about Alex Sancris because he played last game. He came back from a little break here, a little injury. Came back last game, but now he's a 10% chance. So he came off the bench, but it's such an easy, not an easy fixture, but it's a good fixture for Burgos. They're playing a team below them. They're playing a team 20th and they're 18th. So just on paper, you'd think, okay, it's a good fixture. But if he doesn't start and he comes off the bench, I'm going to have to weigh up what other strikers I've got. So this could change. But I quite like the idea of them both. Maybe he starts. It's a bit of a gamble, but you've got to take some gambles, especially in Classic. Piovi, solid defender with 2 games. So he's captain. He usually scores well for Cruz Azul. Brunetta, 2 games, usually scores well. And then the goalkeeper... And those are pretty much my lineups. Under 23, some good fixtures for the under 23s. But yeah, those are my lineups, guys. Let me know your comments below. Any advice you have. I've got £116 still in the bank. If you've got any tips that kind of fit my gallery that you think could work, let me know and I'll add them to the scout list. Good luck with your coming game weeks, people. Thanks for all the likes and the love and the support. Appreciate it all. I'll see you next week. Peace.